Giving into fear and doubt means that you are practicing these habits. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to discuss the importance of your belief system and how you can start practicing the opposite, believing and overcoming. If you have a negative belief system, that means if you give into fear, if you give into self-doubt, if you give into worry, if you give into anxiety, then your life is going to be a reflection of that, because you are what you think about, what you spend your time thinking about, what you give your time and attention to. That is a reflection of who you are in the real world and what you believe about yourself. So if you are not where you want to be, start questioning and challenging your current belief system. And if you can ask yourself simple questions and it feels like there's a negative tone in the answers, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't achieve my dreams, I don't have the time, just a lot of negative emotion and answers behind these questions, then that is a sign that you should start being cautious and mindful of your thoughts and pay close attention to them daily. Because it might seem impossible right now, but you can absolutely change your mind. You can rewire your brain. You can get to that point where you start to believe and gain confidence in yourself. And the best way to do that is by being mindful and aware of your thoughts. And if they are negative thoughts and you're asking yourself questions and the answers are negative, start changing that up. Start telling yourself that you can do things, you can overcome, you can solve problems, you can move forward. Once you start giving yourself permission to do that, that's when change will start to come into play. And that's when you start to rewire your brain and you start to build that confidence and that sense of stability within yourself. So again, confidence, overcoming, believing in yourself, thinking and believing highly of yourself is when the ultimate shift comes. But first you have to be aware that your thoughts are not helping you get to the next level of what you're trying to become. So again, that is a very good place to start, is by focusing on what your thoughts are and observing them, and start challenging them, because they're just thoughts. They're not facts, they're not reality, they're not the truth. They're just a thought that comes through your mind. And it's up to you if you want to give that thought much attention, because most of the time we think a thought and then we attach ourselves to this thought, and usually it can just lead into a negative spiral. Whereas you start challenging a thought that may come into mind, and you choose, I don't want to think about this, or this is not true, this is not who I am, this is not what I believe myself to be. And once you start challenging it every time this thought comes up, because the reason why you have so many negative thoughts is because that is the way that your brain is wired right now. So it might feel hard and a little uncomfortable at first. You're probably not going to believe what it is that you're saying, but with consistency and you shifting your frequency and you shifting your energy and putting it towards things that are positive, that reflection then becomes your reality. That's when things start to change. That's when you start attracting abundance. That's when you feel happier, you feel lighter. It's because you are nurturing yourself. You are taking care of yourself. Think of your mind as a garden that you want to grow and flourish, and just think of like how you would tend to a garden that you want to be successful, to bear fruit, to be sustainable. Ultimately, you are doing this to receive the fruits of your labor, right? You want to grow the fruit. So think of your mind in the same way. You have to nourish it. You have to support it. You have to give it what it needs in order to grow and to flourish. So if you are neglecting your garden, if you're not watering it, you're not paying attention to it, you're not weeding it, you're not trying to put forth the effort to receive what it is that you're looking for, then your mind works the same way. If you're not putting anything good into you, nothing good is going to come out. So just be mindful about, again, the relationship that you have with yourself. Where do you stand with yourself? How do you view yourself when you are looking in the mirror? I believe mirror work is really good. And what I mean by mirror work is just by looking in the mirror, telling yourself like what you love about yourself, you know, practicing your facial movements, practicing looking at your body, and just start giving appreciation to yourself, because at the end of the day, this is all we got. We only have ourselves. We need to make sure that our body is our home and where we feel safe, where we feel supported, where we feel comfortable, where we feel authentic, and everything else follows after that. So if you aren't being authentic, if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, if you can't get control over your negative thoughts, just be aware and ask yourself, like, how am I expecting to get better if I'm not putting in the energy and effort to get better? Because it doesn't just come overnight. It may be a feeling that hits you someday where you're like, okay, I'm finally ready to get myself together. I'm finally ready to put in this work to become the best version of myself. Some people, it happens like that. Some people, it never happens. Some people, it takes to hit rock bottom, like me, to get to this point where it's just like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I know that I'm in control. In the moment that you realize that you are in control, that's another big energy shift, because you think you don't have control when you do. And I think just being aware and mindful when you ask yourself, does my brain control me or do I control it? Because right now, if your brain is controlling you and you're just on the sidelines and autopilot, not doing anything to better yourself in any way, that could be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, whatever. If you are not challenging yourself, and they don't have to be huge challenges, they don't have to be so scary, you don't have to start big, you just have to start somewhere. And most oftentimes you want to start small, and it is recommended that you start small. So that should give you a lot of like peace. Like you don't have to do too much. You just have to do a little bit and just practice being consistent with that little bit, and then things will start moving. You'll start to get the ball rolling. So start challenging your belief system, and know that if you are indulging in negative thoughts, negative self-belief, self-doubt, fear, then that is what your world is going to reflect. But if you start to challenge that and be like, nope, I don't want to feel that way about myself anymore. I want to change. I want to become better. And I'm going to start putting in the work to do so. You are then practicing the opposite, overcoming, believing in yourself, positive thoughts, and knowing how to uplift yourself to keep moving forward. That's when you'll start to notice the change. That is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye guys.